Hi, this is Jen with Ramshackle Homestead and Survival, and today I want to make a little project that I've been meaning to for quite a while, and Cora kind of reminded me of it the other day, and that is to make some wax storage containers for food that goes in the refrigerator instead of using plastics. So it's an easy project and pretty much everything that you got laying around. So stay tuned. Okay, so here we are outside. I couldn't do it inside, although it would be way cooler. It's just too messy in there because I've been doing projects. Keith's not here, so I got the place tore up as usual, and we can't let him see that, can we? So I got into my fabric stash, so it's not as extensive as it used to be, but I do still have a pretty good assortment of materials. This is actually a recycled piece of material. It's just like cotton sheeting that I had made a curtain back in the day at some point. So one edge is hemmed, and then I just I guess tore the sides of it. This is just a regular, I would say maybe a foot square basically. So the thing about, you know, wanting to not use plastics, I think is just one of those things where it not only makes sense for your pocketbook. I mean, if you can make something that you can reuse, that's always smarter. It doesn't really take that much time to make it, in fact. And a box of plastic bags, you know, it's not really expensive or anything, but if you, over time, it does add up, especially if you use a lot. I've been using wax paper more, but I still feel like at some point, you know, it would just be, you know, there's no reason why I can't make my own. So here we are. And I have the material, I have wax. I don't have beeswax, which would be preferable. Did have it, but I can't find it technically. So I'm just using some paraffin wax that you can get at any box store or online. So without much further ado, so what I'm going to do is do a couple different styles, I guess, because, you know, I mean, everybody's needs are different as far as like what size of foods, what type of foods that you put back in your, you know, fridge for storage. I do store, like every morning I have a half an apple with my oatmeal. Oh my gosh, sound ancient, but anyway, it's the best. So, and my cholesterol is really low, by the way, so I would highly recommend it. But, you know, I put a half an apple in the fridge. So, of course, that's not very big. And it's not like I just want to throw it in there and absorb any funky smells or get a little, you know, not as crispy as it could be. So, for me, smaller ones make sense, and, you know, like half avocado, or trying to think of some other things that are fruit or vegetable wise, say like just a couple zucchinis or something, which kind of depends upon how big your zucchini is, I reckon. So anyway, what I did here, this is, I don't know if I said it already, but this valance, you know, I have a hem on it right here, which, I mean, if you just have a 12-inch square, that'll be sufficient. And you don't necessarily have to have a hem. It's not a big deal because, I mean, when you wax it, the edges are going to be sealed. They're not going to fray a lot. And if they do, it'll be very minimal. But if you insist, you know, just fold it, barely fold it over, and then fold it over again, and then sew it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this one into a long bag, because my thoughts are you throw the food in there, and then if you want, you can fold it over a couple times and it's secure, you know, and it's not, you still got a lot of room, and there's a lot of air in there for whatever in there. So, you know, basics of sewing, right sides together. So I have the hem, and here again, it doesn't really matter. It's not like the food cares. If you're a perfectionist, I mean, you're gonna struggle. I just grabbed this thread. It's not necessarily, it's a little thicker than regular sewing thread, but I have a lot of it, so I figured I'd use it. And I mean, this is kind of stuff that I would, it's not quite button weight, I suppose, but it's definitely a little thicker than regular sewing thread. It says on it's 30 weight. I've had it forever. And I think for this purpose, I'm not going to double the thread. This thread's big enough. So I don't know if you know how to tie a knot with just, you just wrap it around your finger and then you roll it and it has a knot. oh, I mean, you could do it again if you need a bigger knot. So I just grab it, wrap it around your finger, and you just roll it till it wraps around a couple times, and then you pull it down. See? Pretty good looking knot right there. And sorry, my nails are disgusting right now because I've been in the garden a lot today. Okay, I'm gonna start at the bottom, and I'm just gonna do a running stitch because honestly, it's not like it's gonna hold liquid. Hey, shoes! And a running stitch is just like it sounds. You just go back and forth. I don't know if you can see that right there. I would say this looks to be about probably about 6 stitches per inch. You could do more or less. You could do this on the machine in no time at all. But like I said, I didn't want to do inside. I'm not bringing the sewing machine out here. And honestly, this didn't take very long. It'd be a good project for a kid too. Cora took off before I can enlist her, but she'd be down with it. And plus, every time you go in the fridge to get something, you'd be reminded, oh, that was so fun. Or if it was the kid didn't want to do it and you had to like make him, then maybe it wasn't so fun. Anyway. Okay, see, I already sewed the bottom just in that little bit of time. So anyway, I will fast forward here and I will come back to the end and we'll go on to another style because I'm going to sew a bunch of them and then heat up the wax and wax it because it's not like something that you want to have the wax heating up and stay heated up. For one, I don't have any way to heat it right here. We'll have to go to the outdoor kitchen, but anywho. Okay, so I'm close to the end. I just was going to show you up close Beth Brennan stitch. So I just let the fabric do the work. And then at the end, I want to tack it a little bit better than just, you know, tie it off right there. So just do a whip stitch. Just means going over the edges like that. Anywhere from 3 to 5 times I think will be sufficient. Just because that right there will get more use than any other stitch. Okay, so then to end it, of course, just go back through your stitches there and then run it through that loop a couple times. I try to do it twice. I don't think doing once would hurt it, but and then I run it through the fabric just a smidge so I won't have the tail. I don't cut it off right at the knot. Now I can just cut it right there. So that's all there is to it. Okay, for this other style, just think of the old sandwich bags, the fold top ones, you know what I mean? Not the Ziploc kinds. So here's another part of my sheeting. I still have the hem at the top. It's about 12 inches deep. I say like, I want it to be about that wide. So I'm just gonna start a cut right there and then rip it. I found like for this project, that'll be sufficient. You can use pinking shears, which are the, you know, the zigzaggy ones that'll help stuff from stop fraying, but I don't think it's gonna be necessary. It's gonna be waxed. Your things aren't gonna go anywhere. Okay, so I'll fold it how it'll look when it's finished. So this is what we want it to look like, you know, and there's the fold. So when you put that on the inside and then fold that top over, it'll secure your food. So like I was saying, right sides together. So this outside is gonna be the right side, so we wanna just reverse this. Like so. So your flap or your fold will be towards the, so like that. And then you just, you know, here again, you just do the sewing. Already got a knot in that. So this one I'm going to start at the top instead of the bottom. And since I'm starting at the top, I'm going to anchor it, you know, with like 3 to 5 stitches. Just because this will get the most abuse here at the top. Okay, and then we just go down. Same running stitch. And I mean, I usually use like 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, which seam allowance is just where you're stitching it in relation to the edge of the fabric. So as you can see, I'm fairly close. Most commercial patterns, you know, if you're a sewer, usually it's like, it depends upon the company, but most is 5/8. I feel like that kind of wastes a lot. So, oh, okay, so I did both sides like that, and then we'll turn it inside out, or right side out, so you can kind of see what we're going for. All right, so it's not super symmetrical, but that is okie doke. So, and then of course, when you put the food in there, and then you just put that down, and that goes over it, and you got a nice little sandwich bag, or, you know, whichever. I'm not gonna hem this top here. I could, and I mean, I don't know, I might do a really quick stitch on that because it would make it fold down better. It's the only reason why I'm gonna do that, but I'm not gonna do the top. There's no need, though. It'll be fine. All right, so the last one, I figured it would be good to do something to cover a bowl with. You know, I've seen them on TV, like the, what am I trying to say? The shower curtain, shower curtain heads, shower curtain helmets. I can't, words not coming to me. Anyway, shower cap, oh my gosh, so dumb. Anyway, so, you know, there's I've seen it for sale, the wax paper that has got like a elastic band and of different sizes and stuff, and you could just throw over it. And I was kind of thinking, well, I could do a couple different sizes and have like a drawstring and just tie it, but I was like, no, honestly, that might be a little bit more involved than I want to do right now. So, but I was thinking, you know, why not just have one that's big enough to go over the bowl, and then to fold underneath and to be able to put in the fridge. Because honestly, it's not like I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with it in the fridge. It's not going anywhere in the fridge. So I don't mind if it's sitting on, it's, you know, keeping secure by just, you know, the pressure of it sitting on itself. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but so I think the biggest thing is just getting, and I'm going to make it a circle. I think that's probably, I can make it a square, but so to see how big we need to make it, I'm just going to go like this, see how much roughly, and then I'll pinch it in the middle. Yeah, that'll go over, that'll do, let me see, about like, and that'll go, okay, so pinch it in the middle, and then so it looks like, just guesstimate, that looks about 8 or 9 inches in here in the middle. So we'll do it like that. It's easier to cut just a 1/4 of a circle than a whole circle. And so that's what I'm going to do. If you want to get fancy, you can have a compass and all that stuff. That's cool. If that's your jam. And you could use pinking shears on this since, you know, the edges are going to be cut. They might fray just a little bit more. I mean, I've even got a little bit of hem stuck in there, but I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so roughly a circle like that. I think that'll fit over fine. Yeah, for sure. And this is just a regular cereal bowl, nothing fancy. But like I said, so that's all there is to it. And I'm just gonna wax that like it is. So here's just one chunk of paraffin wax, kind of you get at a grocery store to seal jelly jars and make candles and stuff. Nothing special, just really simple wax in a pot, and then you just turn on the burner. Really low, I mean you don't want it to burn. I forgot to grab a spoon, but anyway, you can see it's already melting this just after like just a couple seconds. And of course I'm just using an old ratty paintbrush. Okay, so that only took surprisingly very short because it is so hot, and there's still a little bit in here, but for the most part everything it's liquid. So I am outside at our old picnic table. It's pretty grody. I wouldn't do this inside this part unless you have, you know, put down newspapers or something. And of course hot wax is nothing to mess around with. If you have kids doing it, be very watchful because it burns. All right, just dip it in and then just brush it on. Nothing trickier than that. And I mean, I think after you do this a while, you can kind of determine how much wax you want on it. You might want a lot, you might not want much at all. I think if I've never waxed a bag that I was going to use for this particular purpose, although I do have some for camping. That's what I was wondering about. Like, I'm putting my hand in here, it's very hot. I wouldn't necessarily do that, but I don't want it to dry stick together. So I think I don't know, I'll just do both sides. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fine. These will be washable, you know, not in super hot water, of course, because wax does melt, but if it happens to get a little dirty, you could wipe it off with a wet cloth, or if your dishwater wasn't too hot, you know, throw it in when you are washing dishes. Okay, so there's one. Okay. Here again, I wouldn't advise this. I mean, it cools off pretty fast, but I wouldn't want a kid doing this. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry like that, just because I can. And then I'll do this one. Hopefully the temperature will go down a little bit after that. Okay. I had some thicker linen that I was thinking about using, but honestly, the thicker the material or the coarser the weave, the more wax it would take. And I'm not sure if that's necessarily something I want to go for. But if that's all you have, I would say by all means use it. These lighter spots in here don't have as much wax, and you can kind of see, and you could go back over it if you want, or let it dry and then see what you got going on. Put some more wax on if you want. So I'm gonna set this up too. All right, and then this circle one. I mean, and honestly, I guess you could also dunk it. any reason why you couldn't make it. I don't think it would get too much wax on it. Be a lot faster. That'll work good. I know when you're waxing stuff in the wintertime, it seems like it cools a little too fast. But if you ever have that problem, like I've waxed like canvas bags for outdoor use, or hats, and if it seems like it's not wanting to go in the fabric really good, if you got a heat gun, you go over it with that. So, ooh, that is hot. The only thing is, if you had an old pan that you can have dedicated for wax, that'd be best, because I'm not looking forward to cleaning this. We had one, I don't know where it went. It was under the stove, the wood stove. Keith probably put it somewhere. Like side and stuff on me. Oh, that's already dry. I'm gonna do both sides. I still have quite a bit of wax left. I would think I could probably do this many again. And like I said, since this is the first time that I've done it for this particular use, I might want a lot less wax. Might do a lot thinner coat next time, so it might be able to do even more. But anyway, that's basically already dry. Okay, got my bowl, pretend there's some leftover stuff in there. And as you use it, it'll soften up more with use. It's going to be pretty rough these first couple times. Honestly, it's pretty good. I like it. I wouldn't put soup in it necessarily, but I might. Yeah, that'll work good. I dig it. So, and this I think turned out to be a good size. It's already dirty out here, but that's okay. So, oh look, I didn't sew those, but the wax, it was folded anyway, and the wax made it stay, so that's cool too. So of course, when you got your stuff in there, you just fold that top down, fold this over. There you go, voila, look at that. Happy sandwich in there. And then this bad boy right here, put all kinds of stuff in there, and then how much ever, like I said, you just fold over the top, and it's pretty much gonna stay. So it's a pretty good idea. And plus, like every day, like I said, I went to wax paper, and I would just have one piece of wax paper that I would just keep using over and over again. But at the same time, I was like, I can do this myself and not have to purchase any wax paper. So you go wax fabric. You got it nailed. And plus you can use really cute material too if you have it. Or plain stuff like that. You could embroider stuff like a strawberry on it or something. I'm not going to do that, but I could. So anyway, I got lots of stuff to do before it rains. So I'm glad we had this time to do something pretty cool. And I'm going to give these to Cora since it was her idea, basically. Here's a little starter kit. So if you like this video, of course, check us out on, like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and then go to Instagram and Facebook, Ramshackle Homestead and Survival, and follow us there. Always up to stuff, all kinds of stuff. So check us out and tell your friends, and I hope you have a good afternoon. Thanks, bye-bye.